3, 2, and 1. The Bunker Project is brought to you by Okanagan Springs Brewmaster Black Chocolate Robust Lager. All right, we're back again in the Bunker Bar after 3 months, 2 months?
It felt like forever.
Yeah, it felt like forever. And my name's Andrew McGivern, and I'm here with about 5 or 6 Bunker mavens. And the reason we took a little bit of time off is because I had twins, and we've also got someone in the group here who has new twin granddaughters, sons?
2 granddaughters.
Cool. Awesome. So let's start off with the roundtable introduction. We're going to talk WordPress today, and we'll start with Paul the Rock God.
Hi, I'm Paul the Rock God, at Paul the Rock God on Twitter, and welcome back, and congratulations on the kids.
Thank you.
Bonnie Sainsbury, Twitter maven. Social media is smarter, and I am an avid reader of Twins and a Brother.
Brother and Twins.
Brother and Twins, which is a a blog about brother and twins.
Life with twins and a toddler.
I know. So I encourage everybody to read it because I find it interesting. And today's blog post was very funny.
Yeah, it was all about questions you get if you're parents of twins. Like it was questions moms find annoying, mothers of twins find annoying. Like, are they natural?
No, they're dolls.
No, they're synthetic. They're robots.
Yeah, I thought some of them were really rude questions. The fertility thing.
Yeah,
I just give them like the finger and walk away, but then I'm rude. So, but I was appalled that people would ask that. Yeah,
well, it was funny. I was at a staff party. Everybody was drinking. We were going to Kelowna for the weekend, and there's a couple there that's really trying hard to have kids, and they just are having difficulty. And his wife, the guy that I work with, his wife pulled me aside and sat me down, got all serious, and said, "So how did you do it?" And I'm like,
regular way.
What do you mean? And she's like, I mean, did you have sex? Like, I mean, I knew, of course, but did you did you use drugs? I'm like, no. And she just was like blown away.
Well, she put her leg up here and
This position.
Yeah, and we got Terry here too.
Yep, been away for a little while, so it's glad to be back. And
Yeah.
congratulations on the twins.
Yeah, congratulations on. Is it your son's or daughter?
Yeah, with 4 sons, I'm bound to have lots of grandkids. So I've got 2. I have 3 grandsons and now 2 twin granddaughters.
Cool.
Introduce yourself.
what do you do?
Oh, Terry from Mr. I have a locksmith, and I really specialize in covert entry.
Yes.
And what's your tagline?
I have a couple. Well, I have my fan page, which is penetration expert. Locksmiths always get in, and I did it for somebody suggested I do this fan page, and it's amazing the response I get on that, and how it's progressed from women with locks in strategic places to I get more comments and views on a picture of a lock than I do a naked woman with a lock. So it's maybe locksmiths are just a boring bunch, but it's kind of funny. I thought it would be kind of T&A stuff, and it's evolved into quite technical. And it's my views are going up and likes constantly every single day. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, last time you were on, you had some interesting stories about people getting locked in bathrooms and things like that. So.
Margaret, BCA_insurance gal, and a co-host of Women Talking Tech. Going into our 2nd year.
Wow. How many episodes?
36.
36 tomorrow.
Nice. Cool.
Introduce yourself.
36. 36.
I'll smack you. Speak.
Hi, I'm Neil Kilburn from iTeq Global Media, and that's just me.
Yeah, which is a web solution like for developing websites.
We design websites, mobile applications, and work with 86 different countries in the world.
Cool. And in walked the gaming maven, and everybody shut up.
Gamification time.
James, why don't you
You're late.
introduce yourself?
What?
Introduce yourself. We're doing the round table. He's sick.
Bob's sick.
Oh yeah, flat out sick.
I think I see him over there. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Bob Garlic. How you doing? Pretty good to be here. Thank you very much. But Bunker's been off for a couple months because Andrew was babysitting his new eyebrows. So it's good to see you, Andrew. Happy New Year, by the way.
I saw you a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's my birthday, and I got really drunk, and I walked down Gravel Street taking pictures. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
I remember that.
All right, well, I'm going to pass it off to Gaming Maven. Thanks, Bob. What's up? This is James Carg at Twisted_Magic on Twitter. What they call me, the what's that guy? Philip Marc Gagnon. Is that the guy's name that used to do all the impressions and stuff like that of the Bunker Project? Is that right? Andre Philippe Gagnon?
Yeah.
There we go. Does he do like the Louis Armstrong and all that kind of stuff? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's me of the Bunker Project.
Nice.
Yeah. So what's up?
Not
What
much.
show is this?
154, I believe. Yeah. I'll have to double check. Yeah.
Holy crap! 4 years.
Is it already 4 years?
Been 4 years. Yeah.
Wow.
I checked on Meetup the other day. I was like, whoa. So
Yeah, that's a long time.
yeah,
And the very first episode we ever did, the topic was WordPress.
that's right.
And today we're back and we're going to talk about WordPress. But we got someone else here. Let's let him introduce himself.
Hey, I'm Troy, personal trainer.
Kicks my ass on a
Squared,
regular
right?
basis.
Troy squared?
T squared.
T squared, yeah.
And,
What's your blog?
T squared VancouverPersonalTraining.com
There we go.
/ personal training articles. Type that in fast.
Where are you going to sit, James?
I don't know. I'm gonna sit next to you.
All right.
You need to wire up another.
And we got one other person in the room, but she's our official auditor. She's
She's the auditor maven.
she's the auditor maven. She's making sure that we're well behaved here tonight.
James, you want
Good luck.
Okay, so WordPress. How many people here use WordPress? Oh, a lot of hands went
I
up.
have a blog that's kind of inactive at the moment.
You have an inactive WordPress blog.
I do.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of those. Okay, so WordPress. Someone, I think Bonnie posted an article not so long ago saying, and I can't remember who was the author, but it was basically saying why you shouldn't use WordPress, or think twice before using WordPress, and it outlined a lot of reasons in terms of you have to have a little bit of technical knowledge. There are things you have to maintain. You have to maintain the plugins and upgrade them and all that kind of thing because there's vulnerabilities involved. Do you remember who that was?
No, I don't. But I do remember the article. And then there was another, and you're right, because there is overhead associated with WordPress. And the other thing is everybody thinks they're a web designer and they don't like to write content. So what happens is they spend 10 hours making their WordPress blog pretty, sort of, ends up breaking it, and then they spend half an hour starting to write content, when in fact they should be writing 10 hours of content for every hour that they play at being a web designer. Even if they're a good web designer, they still shouldn't be. It's a blog. If that's what the website is, then it's a blog. You should be writing content. You shouldn't be adding a new header to your blog.
Exactly, and if you're just starting out, you can get pulled into this black hole of tweaking themes, plugins. Oh, see a fancy plugin that can do this, that, and the other thing, and you end up spending all your time playing with it instead of actually doing something with it.
Right.
Yeah. So for someone who's just starting out, would you, if they didn't want to spend time doing that, just to start out, would you recommend that they do something like, let's say, Squarespace or WordPress.com or Blogger.com?
No, actually, I wouldn't. But what I would recommend, and I do, is using something like Medium, or Ghost is another one, or Subtle. And I haven't actually looked at Subtle. So they're free blogging platforms. They're hosted. So you sign up for an account, and all you do is blog. You can add a graphic to your blog. You can add a small number of links at the end. So, and then the rest of it is just pure writing. So you don't get to make changes, no short codes. It's just blogging. So I think that's the right way to start, because you get in the habit of creating content. Because I can write a blog post and then spend 5 hours playing with the formatting, putting, embedding tweets and doing this and that, and that doing things that don't enhance the actual content.
Yeah, exactly. And another point too that I wanted to bring up is, as podcasters, we talk a lot about making sure that you have good media hosting for your media files, because if your show gets popular, if you get mentioned on a big name blog and you get a ton of downloads, people aren't just going to download your most recent episode. If people like it, they're going to download all your episodes, and just a huge bandwidth demand, and it'll crash your hosting company if you don't.
And then they send you a nasty email.
Yes. But the same thing is true if you're on shared hosting,
right? And
you get mentioned, and they're not going to mention your RSS feed. They're not going to say go to feeds.feedburner.com/the Project. They're going to say go to Uncensored Social Underground, and then all of a sudden, when Oprah mentions you, your site crashes. So that's one benefit to being on a hosted service like Squarespace or Ghost or WordPress.com.
So the other benefit for a new blogger to be on something like Medium or Ghost is that there's a whole community associated with it. So they advertise within the community. So if there's 10,000 bloggers on Medium, when you sign on, they suggest other blogs that are on Medium. So they do some marketing for you. And it's also easy to market that particular blog. But being part of a community like that converts a lot faster than if your blog is in there, and I forget, it's like 2 blog posts a second or something are created. So that's an awful lot of blogs. So
by being part of a bigger group, the SEO benefits kind of trickle down to your blog because you're part of Ghost. Is that what?
Yeah, but Google doesn't have anything to do with it, but it is traffic. So if you're thinking of SEO as traffic to your blog, then yes. But
it's kind of like Blog Talk Radio. By being part of Blog Talk Radio, you're part of a group of people who are listening to shows and are perusing around the site. It's not SEO. It's just you're there.
Yep.
Where there's listeners.
Right.
Except that the audio is crap over there. So
yeah.
That's why
Okay. But it's the same idea, and also you're part of that community, so you are you feel more compelled to read someone else's blog. Because I read blogs about things that I wouldn't even consider any other way. Just because the first paragraph seemed to be fairly interesting, so I read it. And I probably will only ever read one post, but I would never take the time maybe there's other people that would come back to to that particular person's blogs.
And it is a minimalist feel there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you like that, or do you prefer to see the bells and whistles of a WordPress site?
I can argue either, but I feel like a blogger on Medium.
Yeah.
And I feel like a marketer on WordPress.
Mm.
Anybody else?
What about ownership? At least if you have your own WordPress site, you own everything.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but you can, like, if you're on a self-hosted or a hosted service like WordPress.com or Blogger, you can still, or Wix, and probably if we hear a little bit more about the other new service here, you can host your own domain. So you can get your own domain on a WordPress.com blog. Instead of it being myblog.wordpress.com, it would be myblog.com. And then if you decide you want to go with hosted WordPress, you can just export everything and keep all the links and everything. So you can start off that way if you want with Blogger, WordPress.com, or Squarespace.com, and then move. If you want more of the flexibility and the I mean, there's 30,000 plus plugins on WordPress.
Yes.
There's
That's too many.
tons
And
of
I have
themes.
them all on two of them.
It literally is like, the saying that with the iPhone and Android, there's an app for that.
Yep.
If you can think about it, someone's come up with an app. Same thing with WordPress.
But in some cases, then you end up with someone that has a WordPress site and they've had a crappy developer and they've got 5 plugins that seem to do the same thing and half of them are out of
absolutely.
date. And it's just, or you find a site that's got 25 plugins. You think, okay, this seems a bit excessive.
Yep, it's the same with the App Store.
The website you might know about.
To remain unnamed.
So the other thing you can do with these minimalist blog platforms is you can write a small blog, maybe 100 words, and you can link back to your own blog site, which
Right.
I
yes.
recommend is WordPress, but other people have other opinions. But and at that point, now you can start formatting. Now you can start embedding Twitter posts. You can do whatever you want, and you could write a 400 or 500 page article, but on Medium or Ghost or Subtle, maybe it's 100 words, and it's self-contained, but it would be more like a teaser article or a management overview.
Mm-hmm. So Mike Elgin, he's doing that exact same thing, but he's doing it on Google Plus.
That's where I got
and
the idea.
He
Actually,
swears by doing that, and I think you're doing that. I see you doing a lot of that on Google Plus too.
Yeah.
Like when you post something, you summarize it on Google Plus, or if you're curating something, you summarize it and put it up on Google Plus.
Yep.
And I think that's a pretty good idea too. I want to talk about Ghost for a second. It was a Kickstarter, and they were funded, and now you can sign up, and it's a fully operating platform now. You're on there.
No, I'm not on that one.
Oh, okay. Which one are you on?
I'm on Medium, but I
Right.
signed up for Subtle today, and I'll test it sometime in the next few days. Mary Kane, who is our WordPress expert on Women Talking Tech, has used Ghost, and she rather likes it.
Yeah, and so when they brought out Ghost, they said that WordPress has become more than a blogging platform. It's a CMS. It's become complicated,
Right.
and now Ghost has all the same infrastructure that they've put in place. That they've made it open source. They've got developers working on plugins. And do you think that maybe it's just going to become WordPress over time?
I don't think it's got a snowball's chance in hell against that WordPress. WordPress is 20% of the internet. That's a fairly large community to take on.
James has some interesting pictures on his phone.
Oh, about ghosts?
Actually, yeah, it is about some ghosts. Like you ever see the movie Ghost?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like those pictures.
Ah. Well, I like Casper the Friendly Ghost, but okay.
These are definitely friendly ghosts.
No, I hadn't. I don't know about.
It just seems to me like they've they said that they want to go minimalist. They want to go back to the roots of WordPress, which is just a blogging platform. But at the same time, they're setting up the stage to develop more integrated and sophisticated CMS.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of very interesting things that have been happening in the WordPress community in the last, say, 6 months. So that you actually, there's aids to build child themes that really you don't require any coding.
Yes, Headway is one.
Yeah, I don't like that one, but you're right.
Yeah.
Thesis. So the new Thesis 2, and I can't remember whether it's 2.5 or 3, but it has the equivalent of libraries in, Fortran world or COBOL world, which is the last time I coded. So they have a bunch of libraries, and then you just include them, and then that gives you some kind of functionality. So, and then they use widgets. For anybody that knows anything about WordPress, they usually use a widget, and that's how you can use whatever it is. Sometimes it's short code, but usually a widget.
Like a widgetized area, like a block.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about Headway is I mean, it is drag and drop, and you can put a block anywhere, and you can make the site look like whatever you want. But when you move a block or tweak a block, it can go everything goes all over the place, and then trying to get it back to the way it was is a little bit challenging.
I have a question for us newbies out there. What's the difference between a widget and an add-in?
Plugin.
Plugin and widget.
Bonnie, you want to do this one?
So a plugin is a piece of code that you activate, and it has some kind of a function. One of the most popular plugins is Akismet, whatever, and that's anti-spam. So what that does is add anti-spam functionality to your website. You do have to set it up. There's a license code. There's contact 7, and that gives you all the information to create a contact form on you. Lots of people use that one. There's backup. So
WP backup, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just trying. I've got.
Well, there's 30,000 of them.
Yeah.
So there's so many of them, and basically it's just
Some are paid. Yeah.
Yes. There's free ones that are available to download at WordPress.org or right through your WordPress dashboard, and then you can get a premium plugins. And if you subscribe to WSO or JVZoo,
right.
You'll see daily plugins coming out that can do all sorts of things. And but a widget, like a plugin, is basically a something you activate that instead of coding script, it just puts the script, injects the script into your site and makes it
the
work.
functionality.
Yeah. And is that right, Neil?
Well,
is that technically correct?
No.
No. Okay.
In a word, no.
So how does it technically work?
Technically, a plugin it's a pre-coded HTML file where you put the code from the company, say for Wufoo Forms, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It is pre-coded to accept that code.
So yeah, it's just pre-coded.
Adds functionality.
Yeah.
Whatever functionality it's going to be.
Okay, and a widget.
Yeah.
A widget is just something that displays information in a certain way on the site, right?
A widget is nothing apart from a HTML holder to hold
a little box to hold the code.
Yeah.
Kind of
to hold the code.
Mm-hmm. To display it in a meaningful way.
To display it in the way it is made or built to do exactly what you ask it to do. There is no difference between standard HTML holders or a widget. It's just marketing rubbish.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to code. all
No.
the time. And it would, even if I
No.
did know how to code, it would be inefficient for me to code the About Me page every single time I created a WordPress, when in fact I can just say,
Yeah, but
I can configure it and say, this is the
okay,
email address I want,
yes,
and
but at the end of the day, if you have a HTML box in your website which is linking to another site, it doesn't matter what code you put in it, or you don't even have to code it, because once you have the code, you have the link. Whatever you do on the other site automatically will go to your next site.
Yeah, there you go.
And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters apart from what you want to put in your blog, your post on Twitter, your Facebook feed, whatever. It's not going to change. Whatever you do will automatically update on your website.
There
right,
you go.
and that's, but plugins and widgets are the way that WordPress
But
ages ago set it up. So right or wrong,
no.
it's the way they set it up.
Yes, but it's wrong.
You know, everybody's
Okay.
arguing over widgets and themes and stuff. Is it a hobby or a business? If it's a business that you want to make money with, you hire somebody to put the WordPress
You do.
together.
Yes.
If it's a hobby, fart
Yeah.
around.
Yes.
Okay.
Good point. Yeah. No, very good point.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We're mainly talking about people who are initially at least farting around.
Turn my head now.
Right, because they call themselves bloggers, but in fact they aren't bloggers. They're people who play with their WordPress site 3/4 of the time.
Yeah. There's that's the whole reason why there's a marketplace for these plugins.
Okay, so can I never even speak.
I know, and you're doing very well. Let's talk about your project,
Okay, well,
because it's perfect timing now.
yeah, it is perfect timing because one, I can't hear myself at the moment. That'll be probably a bit better. Anyway, yeah,
Don't worry. We can hear you.
that's good. So, yeah, you have WordPress, and you have a very squeaky
Sounds
door.
like we're in a dungeon here.
We're in a bunker.
It literally is the bunker sound effect.
I'll grab another. I'll get one of those winter ones. Yeah, thanks.
Igor.
Well, it is social media and black beer, so
Yeah. Except they're out of black beer. They're out of black beer. They're out of pale ale. They're out of everything except for the winter. Yeah, it's good. She gave me a sample. It was good. Okay.
Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, WordPress, all the plugins, total waste of time.
Total waste of time.
Total, utter
Okay.
waste of time.
So it's a waste of time because people waste their time fiddling with it, or it's just the concept is a waste of time.
The concept is total waste of time. Why do it? Why bother?
Because it's the only way they can get the functionality on WordPress.
Yes, but
Okay, but what's the alternative to a plugin? Like, how does it work with iTeq?
iTeq, well, the new system is being configured at the moment, and I'm not in a position to promote it at the moment, and this is not why I'm talking about it. But the new position is to create a platform where you can build anything you want. You can have any HTML content you could possibly imagine. So anything to from your Twitter feed, your squeaky door.
So what about like there's a plugin I just saw yesterday, and it's a plugin that integrates like an Amazon affiliate store with WooCommerce. So what it does is it makes it look like the actual products are on your. It actually puts it on your site, so it's not actually pulling it from Amazon. And when you put it in the shopping cart on your Woo thing, it puts it in the shopping cart on Amazon, and then therefore gives you a 90-day cookie. So instead of having a 24-hour cookie, you have a 90-day cookie. So it's kind of interesting. Could you do that kind of
course,
without a plugin? How would that work?
How does it work?
Would you have to code it yourself, or would you?
No. You would just copy and paste from your Amazon store straight into it. No problem.
Yeah, you'd just be setting the expiry of the cookie. You wouldn't be really changing that much else.
Actually, that
comes from Amazon, though.
Yeah, but that plugin does a whole lot more than that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's integrated into WooCommerce, which does a lot more than that. And absolutely,
no, it doesn't.
You can create it yourself, but you can configure it.
It doesn't.
Copy paste it.
It doesn't do what?
It doesn't. Whatever you put on your website is exactly the same as you would put on your WordPress app or in any other platform you're ever going to use. It would not make a difference.
Okay,
it would have the same functionality is what you're saying.
There are other plugins that do that kind of thing, but they pull it from Amazon, and therefore it does not put it does not give your site credit for the content.
Yes, it does.
It does?
It does, because everything is affiliated with everything that you do.
So it's it's kind of like the Force.
No, honey, it's the Matrix.
It's chaos.
Actually, I think that was chunk theory, wasn't it? Or hunk theory?
No.
Where we were every piece of, like every cell or atom is connected by thread.
Okay.
And then it fell to the theory of the molecule, but then with quantum physics, the hunk theory is valid in the micro small.
Okay. Well, if we want to go into supersymmetrical string theory.
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
We went through this the other night, and I did stay awake, but holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, I can do, but my idea of building the platform I'm building at the moment is to make the end user, without code, the simplest, most positive platform they could ever use. So if they use Amazon or Etsy or eBay or whatever to sell things, to be able to integrate it into their own website, and without code, drag and drop, and be able to integrate it with Facebook, so they can put a Facebook store up there within 2 clicks, to add everything they do onto Facebook. And when they...
So does that mean that it's basically your job to set up the infrastructure for that to happen in the background? So you're doing the coding so that to make it easy for them to just drag it in, right?
Yeah. I've been building this for 10 years. This is...
It's evolved.
Cool. So when do we get to see it?
It's live now.
Yeah.
It's not live to the public, but it's live. I've been using it for myself for over a year.
Okay.
And I'm ready to launch it. I'm just waiting or needing the time to launch it. But, yeah, imagine WordPress on steroids.
Cool.
Imagine Wix on steroids. And imagine
Or maybe it's not on steroids. Maybe it's being
Yeah.
trained by Troy.
But
Being trained by me.
yes,
Yeah, I was gonna ask Troy, like,
But,
is steroids versus like actual weight gain better, or is steroids better to use to just get the immediate results? That was a joke.
Steroids bad.
Yeah.
If you want immediate results,
See Troy.
No.
exactly, see me. But if you don't want to work hard, steroids will work.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that.
anyway,
It was a joke, right, Troy?
Right, that was a joke.
anyway,
I do not recommend
so
steroids.
I think we beat that one to death.
Yeah, I was talking.
anyway, I'm just saying, my goal and I want to get this platform into the mainstream. I want to get it, and my main goal is to get it into education, because I believe if I get it into education, and it's free, it's not going to cost anybody any money. If I can get it into education, and we can teach the children in Canada and in the world how to design and develop websites and mobile applications as a curriculum, will be
a stronger nation.
a great future for everybody.
Speaking of mobile applications, hey Andrew, do you know what we have for just now? We have a Bunker Project application on the Windows Phone store that listeners can download for free.
Cool.
There you go. Yeah, the Gaming Maven has developed a Bunker Project app on Windows Phone.
Ooh, I don't have my Windows phone, but I have a Windows tablet at home.
Doesn't work on that.
Oh,
Way to go.
why not?
Okay, Bonnie, what are
Might
you
in a
using
couple
today here? What is that?
It's an Android.
Okay.
Of course it's. And what do you have, Terry?
I have an iPhone, which is absolutely perfect for me because it takes beautiful pictures.
Okay, I'll take a picture of you taking a picture.
It's an iPhone
Okay, that's-
5.
So, anyways, though, I do agree with Neil about the education thing. It's a good idea, and I hope you have the best of success with that.
Oh, did
Well,
you?
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Where can they find out more about it?
Yeah, what's the website?
They can send you emails.
Facebook page, Twitter account.
You don't want to know anybody about it. Not public. No.
Name to be determined.
We'll add it to the show notes once it's there.
So there's no inbound switch.
it's not available. At the
What about a landing page that says coming soon? Squeeze page. Sign up for notifications.
Roids coming soon.
iTeqglobal.com.
iTechGlobal.com. Cool.
That's
So, hey, Bonnie.
ITEQ.
I was talking to Bob earlier today, and speaking of WordPress and plugins and all that, he wanted to know what you think about a particular plugin, retweet old post.
Oh, I love that. I haven't added it in because I'm not sure I twist it yet. But actually, I do that manually, and I think it's a good idea. If you wrote a post, say 6 months ago, and it was good content that's current, why would you not want to let the world know that it's there?
Mm-hmm. And you can customize it, and you could have like a best of category that you only use that category for retweet old post, and just have it, tweet that category if you want.
Right.
And it's I think it's pretty cool. I was listening to Podcast Answer Man, and Scott Stratton was on as a guest, and he slammed that plugin.
Really? Why?
Well, he's on this whole thing now. He doesn't like any automation. He doesn't like any scheduling. He says he gets really choked when he sees somebody tweet something, and then he goes and to send them a message, and they're not there. He's like he wants to go back to the old Twitter back in the early days, and he says that it's he's just disheartened with the whole constant sea of just links posting on Twitter, and So actually, him and Cliff Ravenscraft, the podcast Answer Man, both they were talking about using this tweetbot where they could mute services. They could mute buffer links. They could mute Hootsuite links. They can mute pretty much anything that is not, actually entered in manually. So then they said all of a sudden when they did that, their Twitter experience went from all this noise to what people are really saying, which was kind of interesting. But I actually kind of some people that I follow and put in lists and things like that. The links that they put out there, that's what I want to see.
Yes.
So it's and I can see the point that it is a little bit. It can be a little bit of noise with everybody just putting links out there. I think it was Guy Kiyosaki that made it kind of a Kawasaki that made it a thing, right? If as long as it's really good content that people are curating, I think it's a good thing.
Well, I believe in scheduling, and I have since day one. There's no way you can sit on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other Google Plus, and post live. So I schedule exceptional content, and then I use TweetDeck, and I go in there every once in a while. Sometimes I won't go in for an hour. Other times I spend 10 or 15 minutes there, and then I have a conversation. But I don't. Well, first of all, do I want a random conversation? Do I just tweet you and say, "Oh, hey, Andrew, how the hell are you?" I mean, what are we going to have a conversation about if you have a tweet about something that you've scheduled? Then we can have a conversation. This is good. This is not good. Why are you beating up on Apple again? So we can have a good conversation, but it doesn't have to be live all the time. I'm at yoga now.
I believe in scheduling, but monitoring live. So it's like, if somebody tweets or has a question or makes a comment, that I get notified about right away, and then I can respond. But yeah, I agree with Bonnie. Otherwise, you can't be on live tweeting, as many times.
Yeah, and
I'm not so enamored with Scott anymore.
I think in his book on marketing, he did say this, and then somebody in Germany tweeted him, and he didn't reply for 3 hours later, and then he tweeted Scott Stratton is a fraud, and but with the time change, he'd actually tweeted at 2 a.m, and then he tweeted that he was a fraud at 5 a.m. So he's still sleeping. So he gets up and he sees this tweet, and he said he was totally, disheartened. And I'm like, why would you be disheartened? I mean, it's like the guy is just being an idiot.
Yeah.
So
well, same as it's like if I'm in a meeting with a client, obviously I'm not going to respond if somebody tweets something to me.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like people have jobs. This is kind of way we do this. So it's like, we're not on there 24/7.
Yeah, and if you're not like a teenager, and if you're like a business, you have to schedule. It's not. I mean, I suppose you could just binge tweet.
If you're in a meeting or with a client, you're not going to be pulling on your phone. Oh, mind if I just respond to this?
James never schedules his tweets.
I used to, and then it does be a pain in the ass. Scheduling? Well, I mean, I used to schedule my tweets, but then it got to be kind of a pain in the ass. Because a lot of the content that I deal with is usually time sensitive. So
to the minute?
Well, no, in the sense like in a way I like to be seen as like I.
Well, because if here I know what he's talking about, because if he says that he's eating macaroni and cheese and he schedules it, and then when it actually goes out, he's not really eating macaroni and cheese.
Okay, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Thank God.
I'm talking about like usually there was a post yesterday about a guy that had his Twitter name stolen away from him.
Yep.
For that was worth $50,000 because it was at N, and TechCrunch picked up that story the next day. So I was actually ahead of them by almost 12 hours, or 15 or 16 hours. So that gives me more credibility about stuff that people cares about.
I actually posted that yesterday too, and I scheduled it.
Oh well, okay.
So,
well,
so it's just a matter.
I like to tweet things when I feel is necessary. So if I'm like on the way to do something, sure, I'll use my downtime and I'll tweet. Especially at night, like when I'm at home and I'm reading articles, I'll tweet those out too because I'm hitting a whole different amount of people in different parts of the world.
Are they out? So you don't have anything for? I'm not saying this is bad. I'm asking a question.
I try to post at
nothing
least
for 4 or 5 hours, and then all of a sudden there's 4 tweets in like 20 minutes, and then nothing for. Is that your pattern, or am I wrong?
No, that's not exactly untrue. I mean, that can happen for sure, especially if on the bus. But most of the time, I try to at least be one a day, like at the least, just to show that I'm active. Because I believe that that's more important, is to be consistent rather than. But I will sometimes, do 4 in a row. I have no problem with that, especially if they're different content. If it's the same story over and over again, then yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
But if I miss you.
But most of the time, it's not just me tweeting about it. I'm retweeting other people that I've read stuff about. So.
Right, but
so it doesn't look like I'm sending 4 tweets in a row. It's like retweeted by Twisted Magic, not necessarily is Twisted Magic. So.
Okay, it's just different. So there's a small window of availability for your tweets.
I agree.
And if I happen to be on the phone or something, and you've got incredible content, and I wasn't on Twitter for an hour, then I'm going to miss your stuff.
Totally, I totally understand that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm using Twitter as a personal thing, and most of the people that follow me don't seem to follow a billion people. So, they follow 60 to 70 to 100 people. So I don't really have a lot of people that have.
Okay. It's totally different point of view.
Point of view. Yeah.
Okay, so we had some voicemail feedback. Now,
I actually have a question now. Actually, about Twitter. You mentioned lists, and I've never used a list yet on Twitter. I'm a newbie. So why would you you put Scott in a list? You said, like, why would you put somebody in a list if you're already following?
Well, I never said I put Scott in a list, but I said I have lists.
You have lists, okay, but what's the difference if you're following somebody? Why would you put them in a list?
Because if you're following 7,000 people. You can't really follow 7,000 people, but you can put different people in different niche lists based on the topic or whatever you want.
And then you click on that and then see just those tweets from those people?
I have a Bunker Project list.
Oh.
So I can just click on the Bunker Project list, and anybody who's ever been at the Bunker Project, I can see, hopefully if I've...
So that's how it works. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so...
Okay, no, thanks.
And Bonnie had a good tip too with lists, and that she actually uses them to harvest followers because people are putting out, the best people in their lists, and you can explain that.
Okay, so when you're building up your Twitter followers, you can subscribe to other people's public lists. So if you're a personal trainer, for instance, you find a personal trainer, thought leader in your niche, and you look to see lists that they're following. So thank you very much. They have just...
Or lists that they've created.
That they've created. Mm-hmm. And so thank you very much. They've just given you a list of interesting people. Maybe they've given you a list of people that went to a particular conference, and you can subscribe to that list, in which case you see all of those tweets. You may want to follow some of these people instead of just subscribing, but it's a good way. You can then retweet people from that list, and as soon as you retweet them, they know that you're there. If you have good content that you're publishing, they will follow you back.
Yeah, and you're on their radar then.
Yeah.
So it's a good strategy. Now, I don't have that queued up, so why don't you just ask your question in person since you're here?
Do I remember the question? I think I'm a Twitter newbie, but I'm up to about 1,500, 2,000 subscribers on my Twitter accounts. So my question to the Twitter mavens is, how can I start monetizing Twitter? So how are people monetizing Twitter? If they'll
There's
tell
a big
me.
silence in the room right now. James, how are you monetizing Twitter?
How do I monetize Twitter? Right now, I tell people they can send $1 to my PayPal account, and so far I don't have $1.
Okay, I've provided good content, and because of that, people have contacted me and ended up becoming clients.
That's what
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Okay. Wait.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
I did hear that, but I was thinking more like, has anyone done any of these paid for tweets and stuff? Was it there's something that you can sign up for that they pay you for tweets or anything like that?
No, but I mean I know people who a number of years ago who did tweet this, and if you do it enough times you win an iPad or something along those lines. I'm sure that's the same idea. And they did get an iPad. It worked, but those kind of promotions I think are few and far between now.
So there are people who will pay influential Twitterers to tweet on their behalf.
Go harass them.
I'm not really enthusiastic about it, but I know that happens. And I think the way to monetize any kind of social media is to become famous, to become someone who people trust.
Yes.
So when it
the
comes
know, like,
to
and trust,
yes.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for travel insurance, you remember Margaret because she's provides incredible content. So on Facebook, she's got articles about that's all about money. She doesn't even talk necessarily about insurance, but she talks about finances. And the same thing on Twitter, so that when you're ready to buy travel insurance or other kinds of insurance services, then Margaret stays top of mind. Mm-hmm. Is that monetizing Facebook, Twitter? Yeah, of course it is. If you just put out ads all the time.
Well, and also too, if you just all you do is put out links to your site and make people feel like there's nothing but being bombarded with sales spam, they will not buy from you.
Yeah, but say for me, who is an international karaoke rock star, self-proclaimed, I don't have a business per se.
Yeah, you do. You just
I
don't
do?
realize it.
I don't. Oh, okay. Because I'm more like Justin Bieber, except the clean, unarrested one that's not in jail in Toronto at the moment.
So if I had his money, I'd be on the mugshot once a week.
the publicity he gets. They think it's a publicity stunt, but anyways. So I am a business?
Well, I mean, kind of. You are one of the top hits on Google. So if you search karaoke Vancouver, right?
Oh, I'm number one. I'm a karaoke Vancouver. I'm
there
up there.
You go.
Yeah.
So maybe you could offer a subscription process for your events listing.
Ah, interesting.
Or you could have a digital product. Or you could create a karaoke app or something along those lines.
Well, I do have my karaoke website, rockgod.ca.
Hey,
not that I'm
Paul, I
plugging
know
it.
somebody that can build you a mobile app.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But so, anyways, no, okay. I was just wondering how other people had been. I'm just new to this, and just wondering if there's a way to monetize and how people are doing it right now.
Quality.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think that most people on Twitter, they're not monetizing directly. I mean,
there are a few I've seen that.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking, hundreds of thousands of followers.
Right.
Never fall into the trap of buying followers.
Oh yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. I want quality
worthless.
followers,
and you can easily find those people out anyways. So if you've got like Microsoft approached Bonnie because she's got 100,000 followers, but because they analyzed her followers and her account and found that she's got a very highly engaged.
Well, that's how she got on the Forbes
followers.
list too.
And that's how she, exactly.
2 Forbes lists.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you can buy 100,000 followers that are just spam accounts, and it's absolutely worthless. And
I mean, you're better off having 200 followers that actually care about what you say than having 10,000 that mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly. If you have, say, 2,000 followers, and they're all your customers that have bought from you in the past, and they all know, love, and trust you, it's easy to monetize. But if it's just, I've got 6,800 followers now. But
nice.
They're not. There's people that have maybe 400 followers that are much more personal. Like, I don't really have a personal relationship with most of those people. Like 90% of those people I don't even know personally. I've just follow them on Twitter and they
Yeah,
follow
you
me.
provide quality, and people will come to you. It's not like I get clients all the time from it, but I do. I just had one just before Christmas that found me on Twitter.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't.
You've got quite a few
Yeah.
customers.
I don't think you have to have a personal relationship with your Twitter
No.
followers. They have to know who you are. And if you're branding your tweets properly, then they're going to know who you are. They're going to feel comfortable enough to have a public conversation with you.
Yes.
So there's people that argue with me when I put some kind of, whatever I can't remember the last one. There was where people didn't like whatever it was I was saying. It wasn't even my blog post, it was someone else's. But everything I put out, I have read the whole article and I'm willing to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Yeah, you're not one of those people that just sees
reads
the
the
title
titles.
and flips it onto Twitter.
Yeah. But so we don't have a personal relationship, but we have a relationship. And it's enough that they'll retweet me. So there has to be some trust there for them to retweet me, because they're basically saying, look what Bonnie said. And without saying, oh, she's full of shit, then they're saying, oh, yeah, okay, so she found this article and it's interesting. Or they're having some, sometimes, usually they agree with some point in the article, or they say nice article, they say something, they click through, which is the ultimate trust.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That
Yep.
they click through to find out. Now, there's no way that I can find out how long they stay on that particular site, because it's usually someone else's site.
Yeah.
But when they click through to my blog site, they usually read most of the article.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to assume that the traffic that I send to other sites is quality.
Yeah.
But I can't prove that.
But by personal, I meant not necessarily like a two-way personal, but in terms of like, what good example is the podcast Answer Man. He's had about 20 podcasts, and he's got a very highly engaged audience, and a lot of, he doesn't have that many Twitter followers, but he's but the following that he does have has listened to probably spent hundreds and hundreds of hours listening to him speaking,
Right.
Between their headphones for years. So he's developed this relationship without ever knowing them. But they feel like they know him, and they buy his products, his digital products, and sign up.
So
for
it's
his
not
courses.
wrong for him to monetize. So that was my
Oh
point.
no,
Is it wrong for
no,
you
it's
to
not wrong.
monetize
It's not
Twitter?
it's not wrong at all.
because
But the whole Bonnie, what
you
Bonnie,
have good quality
Bonnie
and-
explained it the best. You have to, and Margaret has a perfect example too of doing it. Is just developing trust by putting out good information and being
And not
authentic
not
and
selling, and not always dragging people back to your website. Any marketer that tells you every post has to go back to your website is full of shit.
yeah.
And should be avoided at all costs.
Gary Vaynerchuk in his new book, he's like jab, 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 right hook, right? So it's like, so he's like, yes, you do have to, if you're using it as a marketing tool, you have to actually market with it, but you have to give, and then present your stuff, and then give, and then pitch.
So about 20%. 15. It used to be 15%. Now you can get away with about 20% of your tweets being links back to your website, but not just to your website homepage is bad because you get them there and then there's nothing. So if you're going to put a link there, it should be to a specific page, and that you have to know why you want them to go to that particular link. James is going to argue with me?
No, he just saw something on Twitter. He says that the tweet said, "I now pronounce you man and wife."
Somebody got married,
And he said,
Twitter?
click on it, and it's free teeth whitening.
No, it's the 10 funniest.
Oh, that free teeth whitening. That's I got this.
Wow, you really earned a dentist these days.
No. I don't know how I got this on my computer, but it's called the Instant Savings app, and it just embeds ads everywhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got to get rid of that thing.
What are you're using Firefox?
I can't uninstall it. When I go to uninstall it in control panel and uninstall, it won't uninstall. It's when I go to Chrome. What's that?
Get a virus, a free antivirus.
I think it's you need an adware.
It'll find you. I think it finds it.
Well, I've got antivirus on there and it didn't find. I've got Norton.
Norton
Doesn't
sucks.
Get
Yeah.
a better one.
Norton's this bloody bloatware.
Norton is a virus.
But Twitter is really good at putting ads on that are related. Like I searched the other day, I searched on Expedia, flight to Mexico. Boom, I signed on to Twitter and I was getting ads for Mexico.
You know, in
Like
Chrome,
that, like minutes. Like,
That's not Twitter.
That's Google.
That's
Google.
well, Google picked up. Well, is it? I don't know.
That's
Somehow they knew I was searching for Mexico within Expedia.
That's Google. As soon
So-
as I went on the website for the site that I went to in Mexico in the fall, everywhere I went on Google. On Chrome, it's like there's always ads for that exact resort.
But I was in Expedia. I went right to Expedia, then searched for Mexico.
Doesn't matter.
And then,
They know it's
wow.
Google.
yeah, they know what you're doing.
And then Twitter showed the ads. Like I had sponsored
yeah.
ads in Twitter and stuff.
Wow.
Within
This,
minutes,
but this instant savings thing, what it does is you're on a website, and if it's got the word free on the website, it'll turn it into a link with a little symbol next to it,
Virus.
and then you hover over it, and it pops up an ad. And then if you go to uninstall the Chrome extension, you can't because it's installed by enterprise policy. They're like really sneaky. It's hard to get off.
I don't know about that particular one, but I did get rid of something like that with antivirus. So try to find another antivirus, run it, and it treats it like a virus, and then you can uninstall it.
You know, I have a Mac. I don't have any of these problems.
That would be because the virus people don't care about Macs, because they're only 7%.
Exactly. There's only 7% in the world, so yeah, whatever.
Actually, that's a good point, and it's true. That's one of the benefits of having a Mac. But I mean, I like having it. I like my touch screen. I like the, it's a little bit more cutting edge.
I like
technology.
not spending my life fighting viruses.
Yeah, no, it's
I
a good
haven't
point.
had-
It's a good point.
This one thing is the only thing I've had in 5 years.
Yeah,
I don't have blue screens. I've had one virus in all that time, and
I haven't
it was
had a
my
virus
own-
since I got this. The only thing
I
I've got
know.
is this stupid adware.
it's adware.
Thing,
It's
and
not a virus, but
Yeah.
it's adware. But I
And
got rid of it.
You go to their site and they you read it. It's like they're like the saviors. They're making shopping easy by embedding links on everything. It's like, yeah, I don't think so.
I just want to punch you in the face.
Yes, that's it. I want to punch you in the face. Instant savings app.
In the face.
All right, so the karaoke maven is the rock star is out of here.
Punch him in the face.
Got a show, got
Right in the face.
Okay.
Thanks, Aaron.
Do good
All
on
right.
your test.
Bye.
I'll tell you
Good
another day
night.
how to make your website actually make you money.
Talking about
That's cool.
Google, can we talk about Google selling off Motorola?
Yeah, for sure.
They did,
but
they did
before we do
keep
that,
most of the patents.
before we do that,
though.
while we're talking about these adware things, one of the best things if you do have a PC is to never go to like CNET or any site where you're downloading free software. Because, because even if it's coming from what seems like a reputable site, these they used to put little donate buttons, but nobody donated, and so the way to make money is to sell embedded bundled software like this instant savings app, and you download a free like Minicam or software that looks good and actually is pretty good. Oh, thank you. And you end up getting bundled software that you didn't want, and even if you tick that you don't want it, they put it in. They put it in anyway. So it's better to buy software than to get free software. And you just run the risk if you do take free software that you're going to get this crap on there. So Google sells Motorola,
Yeah.
But they did keep a bunch of the patents.
like 90% of them.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean that's why they bought the patent. I found it interesting that
So they bought them, kept the part they wanted, and dumped the rest.
yeah, and it hurt them actually a little bit having Motorola because it meant that they were competing with their OEMs.
Yep.
So I think it's a good move to get rid of Motorola, to sell Motorola. You know, get 5.9 billion, was it? I think for and you know they get to keep all the intellectual property, so it's good. But that one of the things that they did have was Motorola had a patent for the 30-pin adapter, which is what the iPhones used. And Apple didn't care, or Motorola didn't really care. Motorola was never a company that aggressively sued over patents unless it was something that was directly competing with something they were using.
Yep.
So, but when Google bought Motorola, all of a sudden, Apple's like, yeah, let's change our. Yeah.
I thought they just wanted me to buy more cables.
Well, I mean, that was a side benefit. That was a bonus.
Yeah, that they made some money off.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I think it's a good move. I can't see any downside to it.
Google isn't a hardware company, is it? I mean,
No, I mean they have their own branded devices like the Nexus 7,
The
Nexus
Chromebook.
5. Well, the Chromebook,
Samsung.
it's manufactured by Samsung. Yeah. The
But is the
Nexus
Nexus-
5 is manufactured by LG, and then Nexus 7 is manufactured by Asus.
and 4 is, I think that's LG too,
Yep,
isn't it?
It is.
Because
It's
I have
LG.
an Elf. But so I liked the idea that Google had a hardware company, and the Nexus line, because now I have a smartphone for $350 brand new, and they were the first ones to sell a premium, arguably a premium smartphone at $349. It was $349 brand new in
Nexus
the
4?
box.
The Nexus 4 was a mid-range phone.
Yeah, but it does
the Nexus
everything
5 is a high-end phone. So and it's not it's still at a low price point relative to the iPhone, relative to the Samsung
Right,
Galaxy.
but this
S4.
Nexus 4 does everything that it's not a Note 3. But other than that, it's the same as any other kind of smartphone. It does everything, and
I actually prefer the Nexus line to, I like the Note because I like the size.
Yes, me too.
But I don't like the TouchWiz features.
Well, I have an old Note because I'm cheap, because the new one costs too much money, and this one has the latest version of Android on it. So that's why
But the Samsung and the LG and the HTC and everybody else has their manufacturer's overlay, like HTC Sense or Samsung TouchWiz, which maybe one or two of the features are kind of cool, but it forces you to. You can't turn it off. The one thing I did like about Motorola and their Motorola overlay, like the extra features that Motorola added, you could go into the settings and just disable it and get rid of it. And then you've got bare bones Google, but with Samsung, no, you're stuck with the bloatware and you're stuck with it on LG and you're stuck with it on. Mind you, some of it is like there's one or two things that are, it's pretty cool. They have a cool camera app that's better than the Google one.
Right.
But then you're stuck with everything else. It's like, I don't want to have that benefit with all this other stuff that I can't get rid of.
And this Nexus runs apps better than the Note. Maybe the Note is just too old, but there was some apps that didn't run nearly as smoothly as the Nexus 4, which is now an old phone, but not to me.
Yeah, it's I think my phone, Mateo was grabbed Valerie's iPhone and said, "It's my phone, my phone." I'm like, "No, that's Mommy's phone. Give it to her." And so he took it back. He took it over to her, gave it to her, and then he saw my phone, which is an older end. It's a LG LTE.
Yeah.
So it's getting a little bit old, but he picked it up off the coffee table and then said, Papa's phone. And he walked over, and I was changing Mava at the time, and there was this little water dish on the thing, on the changing table, and he reached up and I'm like busy. I didn't see what was happening, and he just put it on the table, but it went straight into the water dish. That was about a month ago, and it's been steadily degrading ever since. And now it's done. It's
So
totally
the
done. So next
rice
is-
thing didn't work.
no,
popping it
no,
into
it's,
rice.
It survived for a while, but then
His
liquid
English
damage-
would say at this point, it's proper fucked.
Yeah. Liquid damage, you can, no matter what you do, throw it in rice or whatever.
Okay.
That can help, but it over time, it can still,
Okay.
it
So
spreads like cancer in the phone.
So I think it was, I can't remember which tech journalist it was, but it was someone that I trusted. And they were talking about Google, not this latest, it was when Google bought Nest. And this fellow sort of threw away the thought that, or threw out the thought that mobile smartphone technology has pretty much come as far as it's going to. The curved screen and some of the other kinds of things that it's doing, but basically it went straight up from the old gray brick to the smartphones that we have now. But in terms of hardware technology, he didn't seem to think that there was as much to change. And I'm wondering what your reaction to that is.
Well, it's like same thing with computer hardware with like Moore's law, right? Like they're saying that at some point it's got to stop. But no, I think that there's still a lot of room, and I think it's going to be going to, of course, wearables, and the phone is going to be the hub. And
Wait till augmented reality is more mainstream.
yeah, and there's going to be all sorts of other devices that just connect to it. So it's going to be modular. You'll walk into your home and you'll have your phone will connect to, your.
Well, Z-Wave does that now. From your iPhone, you can open up your front door. You
Exactly.
can turn on your lights.
You get into your car, and now your car is connected. You get and your watch, your glasses, everything. It's. Yeah.
But okay, so I'm going to argue that the technology to do that is not that revolutionary. It's been around for a while.
Just the costs are coming down.
Yeah.
Okay, and
the size of the.
But those are cosmetic things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not revolutionizing the technology. It's making incremental changes, and maybe it's going to get thinner. Maybe curved is really a good thing.
But there hasn't really been that much incremental. It's all been incremental change, except for a couple of milestones, like when. Apple introduced the iPhone. That radically changed the smartphone.
Right.
And then since then it's been incremental change. There hasn't been, prior to that there was the BlackBerry it revolutionized the way that businesses use phones.
Right.
There were what was there before that? It was
the brick.
Yeah. We're talking like there's a couple milestones and then incremental change in between.
Okay.
So I that's the way I see it.
Okay.
And every new phone that comes out, it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then if you look at the, you take if you were to walk away and come back, and you didn't see the little increments, then it'd be like, wow, that's a big difference. It's like, you don't notice your kids getting older until you go. I didn't notice Mateo had grown so big until I was holding newborns in my hand.
Okay, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, holy crap, your head is huge. It's like the size of a planet. So, it's kind of like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't defending that point of view. I really did want to know what your take on it was, because that came out of the blue, and I thought, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Next time I see Andrew, I'm going to ask.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. It's tough to say. Like there could be like something around the corner that's going to come out that's just going to blow everybody away. But
like a battery that lasts for 3
that's
days?
definitely coming. That's definitely coming.
And is that? I guess that's an offshoot of mobile. of the whole mobile world.
Well,
is power.
they've got technology for the ultra capacitor, which is awesome, and I'm sure those are going to be coming out soon, which is it's a totally different technology than the current batteries, and it charges in 3 seconds.
Whoa. Okay,
And,
I'm on that one.
Yeah,
I
it
love that.
charges in 3 seconds, and they it was like 2 years ago. Leo Laporte had a prototype for a home drill that was powered by an ultra capacitor, and it was totally dead. And he plugged it in, and you heard this kind of like sound, like kind of like an air compressor almost, and then it was charged, and then he was like, drilling with it and stuff like that. But those are coming.
I have a new solar watch, and 20 minutes of sunshine is good for 6 months.
There you go.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Really?
So there's all sorts of cool things that are going to come out, but whether it's going to revolutionize the way we use our smartphones or whatever, I don't know.
Let's talk about popcorn.
Where is he?
Oh, you were here for that one.
Yes, I was. That was
Whoa,
famous.
you
Where
were here
is
for
he?
one of the
Yes.
craziest episodes ever.
I was actually talking about that guy that threw popcorn at you.
Oh, popcorn at me. Yeah, well, Bonnie says I'm becoming an authority when billion-dollar companies get pissed off when you show up.
Do you know what we're talking about? Do you have anything for a game with James?
Oh, Angry Birds. You can talk about Angry Birds.
Ooh, in the, what is it, NSA?
Do you have anything? Yeah. All right. It's time for...
That's good new theme music.
Gaming with James.
James.
What's up? Okay, so it's Game with James. First edition back since when did we stop doing this? Holy crack, October? Okay, so a couple big things. Nintendo is having a really bad time right now, and I don't know why. But they're going to cut their costs, and their person that owns them is taking half a pay cut. So, SpaghettiOs. And for the first time in 2 years, they're running an operating loss of $11,000. So that's kind of scary, because they went from having $200,000 to $11,000 in the hole. So, anyways, I guess I'm the only one that cares about that. But however, they did sell 152 million 3DSs and currently have 969 million Nintendo DSs in the world, and the same amount of Wii's.
I see those all over the place. Those DSs with kids playing them in airports and all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, but for some reason, I don't know why, but they're not making money. So I don't know what's going on with Nintendo. I'm a little scared. Hopefully they pull through this.
Do you think smartphones and iPod touches are hurting that part of the business?
Possibly. I think that. Yes and no. I mean, parents know that if they want a full-fledged game, they can buy a DS and like the games at the store for $30. But if I guess they're cheap, they'll just give them a free-to-play game. But then they'll end up with $1,000 charged to their credit cards later when they enter the password, and they don't know that for 15 minutes that password is still active after they give the iPhone to the kid. Then they'll learn the lesson. I think there's room enough for everybody. I just think that it really depends on what the parents or the grandparents want. So I don't really recommend giving your kid a cell phone right away, though, anyways. But, it's up to them.
No, definitely not, because they'll just throw it in a dish of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to be old enough to understand the consequences of what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I'd say like 8 years old is probably old enough.
I was thinking 28.
Well, I was at a
8-year-olds are not old enough to understand the consequence of things unless they have a phone that has very simplified apps and is very locked down,
Actually,
so they can't do stupid
in
shit.
his defense, he never would have done it if he was tall enough to see where he was putting the thing.
Well, I was at a high-end restaurant last night, and the two kids, they were like 5 and 6 years old, and they both had smartphones, and they're playing games in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't yelling, but other than
yes,
that,
they were. They were quite thrilled over it. It sounded to me like they had like a Tamagotchi game. They were feeding their little pets on their smartphones.
I see. Okay, so yeah, the little Tamagotchi things, those are pretty good. But, I don't know, 8-year-olds I think are old enough to have a cell phone. Otherwise,
Cell phone, but not a smartphone. They can do too much damage. They do not understand the consequences.
I went out for coffee with a friend who was meeting two friends that he hadn't seen in a long time, and they brought their kids, 2 kids. And so the whole time we were, having our conversations, the kids were just sitting at the table next to us, playing with the iPhones. And they didn't say a word for like 2.5 hours. So they're, it's not their phones. They gave the parents gave.
It's a digital babysitter.
Exactly, it's a digital babysitter. But they were I think 7 and 9 actually. So they're not really young.
crazy. Anyways, digital babysitter, only $400. Sweet.
My sister's
Good
5-year-old daughter downloaded at Christmas $600 worth of Justin Bieber apps.
Yeah, I wish I made those.
Merry Christmas, Mom.
And Apple gave them a full refund.
Wow.
Because
I had a customer that that their kid downloaded some kind of, I don't know what the app was, but it was some kind of specialized navigational app for like boats or something like that. Yeah. And it was a $1,500 app. And Apple refunded it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the kid just downloaded it, and then, when they saw the bill on their Visa, they're like, what the hell is this? And they called, they contacted Apple and they did refund it. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
It's a good case for not having your iTunes password saved in your phone.
Yep.
Yeah. Good case for getting the 5S so you can use your fingerprint instead.
or your junk.
Or anything.
Does
actually,
that work?
yeah.
I haven't tried that yet. Okay, that's good.
According to some of my friends, it may or may not work at Apple.
Yeah, your nose works. Your earlobe works.
Your male member.
Okay, let's give it a try.
You didn't tell me if it was like during different conditions.
Right.
Come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think
shrinkage, right?
Anyways, on that note, we're going to talk about something else that gets you screwed. We're talking about Angry Birds hanging out with the NSA.
Oh, I am
And
so
Bonnie
upset.
is so upset.
I took Angry Birds off every single thing that I have.
See, I don't really care that the NSA is looking at my Angry Birds stuff. I'm just glad somebody else is looking at my high scores.
Okay, so I missed that story. What's happening with that?
So the NSA...
Oh, he's got to
Microphone.
talk into the microphone. The pros.
So they apparently were tracking you, the NSA.
Because you play Angry Birds. Do
Yeah.
they not have anything better to
Well,
do?
Apparently not.
wait. This isn't the first time this year.
Are they looking?
They-
Are they looking
well,
for new
the-
elite fighters?
The other thing that was, I think,
Isn't there a sci-fi movie about that?
There was. It's called Ender's Game. Anyways, there was these other company that what was it? The NSA. They were looking at World of Warcraft and Counter-Strike as well. So I don't know, something about throwing birds against walls and blowing walls up. I think that's kind of what tips them off.
Yeah. So a bunch of little old ladies with canes.
So
what
is the intelligence benefit of monitoring people's Angry Birds playing?
I have no idea.
I think intelligence is the wrong word.
Yeah, military intelligence.
Well, yeah,
Kind of
and
an
it's-
oxymoron.
Yeah, and it's the American military intelligence. Oh, Christ, they'll begin.
Maybe you'll get an extra 1,000 viewers now or listeners because of
the NSA.
NSA.
It's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they do monitor the Bunker Show. Well, I guess they monitor everything. Well, that's not good.
Yeah, Edward Snowden found out the secret. On South Park, they said they found out the secret of the NSA, and that was Santa Claus.
Yes. All right. Thanks you for listening to another episode of The Bunker Show. If you made it this far, then wow, I'm impressed. And we're in overtime this week. You can call in and leave voicemail feedback by using the toll-free number 1-877-636-1474. And we'll be back again next week with another episode. Bob will be back, I'm sure. he's resting and getting better. And we'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Conversation.
So Popcorn Guy is one of the classics, is it?
No, you're